Hello friends, and welcome back to Swiftlessons for another by request song tutorial. In today's session, I'm going to be getting us into the holiday spirit with another breakdown of a Bing Crosby classic. This is going to be an arrangement of I'll Be Home for Christmas for voice and guitar, and I invite you to follow along using my printable tablature at patreon.com/swiftlessons. You'll also be able to find a chord sheet there. Now we're going to get started with a full demonstration of the tune. As always, I want you to see what you can figure out just using your ear and also your musical intuition. Then you can move into the instructional segments. Let's get started.
I'll be home for Christmas. You can plan on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents round a tree. Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams.
Okay, a close look at the fretboard, getting started with our intro section. We're in standard tuning, key of G major. Now this section is free time, so there's lots of space for experimenting with the phrasing. It's going to sound like this, nice and slow. Okay, so that began with a G major triad. Okay, played here with an F shape. I've got the 5th fret of the D string, the 4th fret of the G string, and the 3rd fret of the B string. I'm gonna strum those strings together, then set up the first melody. Okay, so strum the chord. Alright, then an upstroke on the 5th fret B string, up to 7, and then the 5th fret high E string. Put that together and we've got. That'll get you to the next chord, which is going to be E diminished, or an E full diminished, E diminished 7, whatever you want to call it. Okay, we strum that chord. It is the 7th fret of the A string, 8th fret D. I've got my bar over the 6th fret of the G string, okay, but it can be the tip of the finger. And I've also got the 8th fret of the B string. An E full diminished chord. We strum that chord, then go down to 5, up to 7, and then up to 8 on the B string. You put those two phrases together, and we have real slow. Okay, next we have the chord A minor. Okay, this is a very interesting voicing of the A minor chord. I just have the 10th fret of the D string, the 9th fret G, and the 10th fret B string. Okay, and we're strumming from the A string to the B string. And it's very important that you copy my finger choices here. I've got the ring finger, the middle finger, and the pinky. Okay, once again, strumming from the A string to the B string. From there, we're gonna grab the 7th fret high E string before setting up another chord shape. Okay, technically, even though this is part of the A minor melody, this is a C add 9 chord. Just using that little triad that we used for the G chord earlier, but rooting it off of the 10th fret of the D string. So 10th fret of the D, we've got the 9th fret G, the 8th fret B, and then our pinky is grabbing the 10th fret of the high E string. And we use a bar here. Okay, put that into context, and we've got... Alright, then we're just going to play the 8th fret of the high E string by itself before barring across All right, this is going to be a D6 chord, barring across the 7th fret of the D string, G string, B string, and the high E string. Strum that nice and slow. Let it ring out for dramatic effect. A little vibrato on the B string, 10th fret. Then that'll get you into your verse section starting with a garden variety G major chord. Okay, let's see if you can play through that intro section for me. I'm gonna play it nice and slow. Just remember to practice it and play around with it. Be sure to make this section your own. Okay, so we're getting started with the G major chord. Okay, if you can play that, then you're ready to move into the verse section. Okay, very good everybody. You have the intro section down, and now we're jumping into the verse section. I'm going to be counting this with a tight 6/8 feel, arpeggiating each of the chords in the progression. So, line number 1 is going to sound like this, starting with the G major chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I'll be home for Christmas.
Okay, very simple. We take the G major chord and we're going to play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that was the E string, D string, G string, B string, back to the G string, and then to the D string as well. So just a basic hybrid pick-in arpeggio pattern. Okay, so that was pick, 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 middle, middle, middle. I'm going to do the same thing over a B flat diminished chord. 1st fret A string, 2nd fret D string, 2nd fret of the B string. But I changed the root note to the A string, okay, that 1st fret of the A string, that B flat note. Alright, the same exact pattern over A minor 7, 2nd fret D, 1st fret B. Alright, then next I have the D7 chord shape. I could play it in the open position, but I'm going to use my C7 chord shape brought up a whole step and then apply the exact same pick-in pattern. Okay, you put all that together and we have line number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, G. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Home for Christmas.
Okay, that'll get you to line number 2, which is going to sound like this, starting with the chord G6.
You can count on me.
Okay, so a G6 chord. I'm going to wrap my thumb to the 3rd fret of the low E string, grab the 2nd fret D, the 4th fret of the G string, and the 3rd fret of the B string, and just pick it like you would a normal G chord. Okay, then the next measure, we're going to split between the chord B half diminished and E7. So, the B half diminished chord, I've got the 2nd fret of the A string, the 3rd fret D, 2nd fret G, and the 3rd fret of the B string. A little zigzag shape you can use to play every half diminished chord, also called a minor 7 flat 5. Okay, so for this chord we're just going to play A, D, G, then move to an E7 chord shape and play E, D, G. Okay, now for the E7 chord I tend to apply many different string choices. It can be okay, lots of different combinations of notes there. So experiment with pulling strings over the E7 chord shape and really any of these chords. Okay, so far you have the G6 chord, the B half diminished, and the E7. Before going to the A minor 7 again, you know what to do. And the D7 chord shape here on this measure, I'm just gonna let it ring out on that B string 3rd fret with a little bit of vibrato. Okay, you put all of line 2 together and we have the G6, the B half diminished, the E, the A minor 7, and the D7. Okay, very good everybody. You have lines 1 and 2 of the verse down, and now we're jumping into line number 3. This one's going to begin with a different voicing of the A minor 7 chord shape. So line 3 is going to sound like this. Please be snow and mistletoe. Okay, it's a little bit trickier. So the A minor 7 chord, this time I'm just going to bar the 5th fret of the D string, G string, and B string. Okay, and then just apply the exact same pattern. The D dominant 7 chord for the next measure, you know what to do. Next, another variety of the G chord, G major 7. Okay, 3rd fret of the low E string, 4th fret D, 4th on the G, and the 3rd fret of the B string. Okay, this is another very important chord. Every single major 7 chord shape in the book. Just gotta move it fret to fret. Okay, now we're gonna pick that one just like we would any other G chord. Alright, then finally to finish off this line, we're going to the chord E minor 7, where we're gonna cliff hang. Okay, so this is E minor 7. Very interesting voicing of this chord. 7th fret A, 5th fret of the D, the 7th fret G, and the 8th fret of the B string. Okay, now if this chord is uncomfortable for you, then you might want to consider using just the bar shape, or the open position variety of this chord. Okay, so we're gonna pick this one, arpeggiate the chord, and just let it hang on the B string. Okay, to finish up line number 3. You put all that together and we have the A minor 7 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Please be snow. G major 7. Mistletoe. Alright, now we're ready to finish up our verse with line number 4. Okay, on to line number 4. It's going to sound like this, starting with the chord A dominant 7. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and presents round a tree. Okay, so very simple. We have the A7 chord shape, 2nd fret D, 2nd fret B. Alright, we're gonna arpeggiate it. Go back to that second voicing of A minor 7. A D7 chord shape in the open position. Then for the final measure of this line, just drag it up so that way your index finger's on the 4th fret of the B string. Strum from the D string to the high E string and let it ring. Put that together and we've got A7, A minor 7, D dominant 7. Okay, letting that ring to get us into the second verse. Okay, very good everybody. We have the first verse down. Now we're going to play through the whole thing at a slow tempo, starting with the G chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I'll be home for Christmas. You can plan on me.
D7.
Please have snow and mistletoe and presents round a tree.
Okay, so that was pretty straight, but just keep in mind that when you're performing this, you can speed things up, slow things down, drag some things out, let them ring, just for dramatic effect. Okay, very good everybody. We have the first verse complete. Now we're jumping into the second verse, where it's going to be mostly the same techniques, but we're going to be featuring a very cool gypsy jazz Django Reinhardt inspired lick just to make this rendition extra special. Okay, so it'll start off the exact same way, the G chord.
Christmas Eve will find me.
D7, the G6,
where the loved
E7 gleams. Okay, so there we'd have the A minor 7 chord shape, but we're not going to pick it. Instead, we're going to play. Okay, this really cool lick. Okay, so we let the A string ring. Then we're going to play 0, 4, 5, 8 on the low E string. Okay, so then onto the 7th fret of the A string and the D string. All right, putting those in. Okay, then we're up to 9 on the D string, then a half step up to 10. Okay, adding in those notes. Okay, at this point, I'm picturing a little A minor chord shape. So I'm gonna go to the 9th fret of the G string, 10th fret B. All right, that's an A note, our root, so it's a good place to stop and practice. One more time, 0, 4, 5, 8, 7, 7, 9, 10, 9, 10. Then we just need to finish up 12, 13, and let it ring with some vibrato. Okay, so now let's put that lick into context and play it in time. So if I'm looking at verse 2, line 2, starting with that G6 chord, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1. Okay, so it's very important that we always count these kinds of things. I always say, if you can't count it, you can't play it. Okay, if you can play that lick, then you're ready to move into the final 2 lines to finish up the tune. So letting that 13th fret B string ring out, we're gonna go to the C/G chord and let it ring. Then a C minor chord, be home. Then we're back to picking the G chord. Christmas. To an E dominant 7 chord shape, plucked the exact same way. Then onto the final line of verse 2, we're going back to the A minor 7 chord, second voicing. This line sounds like this. If only in my dreams. And then that'll get us back into our intro, reprise. We're just gonna play the intro again to end the tune. Okay, so the A minor 7 chord, line 4, verse 2, we're just breaking that chord apart just like we did before. All right, then arpeggiate the D7 chord shape just to the B string. D, G, B, strum the F sharp diminished /D chord by dragging that D7 chord shape up. All right, then finally, we're gonna go back into that intro section. And then end with one last chord that I want you to learn, the G major 7 chord up here in the 10th fret position. Okay, so I'm actually gonna bar an extra note here, the low E string 10th fret, all the way down to the high E string. Okay, so barring all 6 strings, and then I'm going to have the 12th fret D, the 11th fret G, and 12th fret B string. A nice slow arpeggio. A really nice way to end this classic tune. Okay, very well done everybody. We have the intro, we have verse 1, we have verse 2. We're basically ready to perform. Just as one last step, I want you to play with me through verse 2 and then through the outro instrumental where we can end the song. Okay, so getting started with that G major chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Christmas Eve will find me. G6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1. Alright, the C/G. I'll be home for Christmas. If only in my... The the outro instrumental, Dreams. And then end the song, G major 7. Alright friends, thanks so much for checking out this lesson on I'll Be Home for Christmas. I hope you enjoyed it and it got you into the holiday spirit. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. As always, big thanks to my supporters at patreon.com/Swiftlessons. I hope you're enjoying all those extra resources, and thanks to you guys, I got many more lessons coming up, so keep checking in, please subscribe, please share. This is Rob at Swift Guitar Lessons in Philadelphia, saying happy picking.